I remember going and getting my tray and going back in the cell, and my cellie followed me in there, took my tray out my hand, and smacked me in the face like simultaneously. It was just like, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the After Prison Show. Today I'm going to talk to you about my first time ever getting locked up. It's been a long time and a lot of bids ago. And believe me, I'm not proud of that, but I am proud of the fact that I'm not going back again. I believe that in my heart, and I hope that y'all believe that too. The year 2000, I got in trouble. As soon as I turned 18, I caught 3 felonies for breaking into somebody's house and stealing some guns, and yeah, and then I got told on and got locked up. And I ended up serving almost 3 years. Came home, I was 21 years old, ready to go to the bar. I got locked up for 3 felonies. I was, just a troublemaker. Someone came up with the idea and my retarded self was like, okay, let's go. And that's pretty much what happened. So thanks for watching. I remember sitting in back of the cop car thinking to myself, what have I done now? I'm going to big boy jail. I had been to the detention homes and things like that, but this was the big time. I was going to the big house. Ain't that what they call it, Cody? I was going to the big house. I was scared. I was in the back of the cop car, shaking. I was trying to think of anything I could say to get myself out of this situation, but it wasn't going to happen. I knew better than to snitch. I didn't want to have that on my reputation, but I definitely contemplated it, knowing that I was in the back of this cop car because somebody snitched on me. Well, I wore it. I caught a grand larceny, attempt to break and enter. That was it. They were not playing games. I get to jail and I just remember walking through these doors and sitting down in front of the magistrate, and they denied me a bond. I have no reason to have my bond denied, but they did. Apparently this has been going on forever in Virginia. No bond. It was terrible. I was so scared. I literally, all that was going through my mind was everything that everybody had told me about the Junies. That Bubba's gonna touch you, someone's gonna try and take your food, and, well, I'm gonna tell you what, some weird things did take place. I'm still a virgin, so you ain't got to worry about that. That's not what happened. But it did get a little crazy. I remember going into this block. They put me in general population. And we were walking, and I'll never forget, it was W3B. That was the label for this block, or this pod. It was like 40 people in it. It was a 30-man pod, and they had like 40, 45 people in it. There was people sleeping all over the floor. And I remember walking in thinking to myself, whoa, what have I done? It was just crazy. People were loud. There was stuff going on everywhere. And I wasn't used to this. You know, in juvenile, you're locked up in your cell pretty much the majority of the time. But this right here, I'm just, it's like they just threw a bunch of people into a box and was just, don't die. I didn't know what to do. I was shook. I was real quiet. And, they come up to you and they're asking, everybody's asking, what you're in here for. And, asking me questions, do you eat your trays and all this stuff? And I'll tell you what, man, everything that everybody had ever told me about jail was just running through my head. So I'm like, oh, these people are trying to punk me. And, I was a wise-ass little kid. I had a smart mouth growing up. The truth of this is I had a small man complex. I didn't like it when I felt like people were picking on me or they thought they could just beat me up. Now, mind you, I probably was a little punk, and I didn't know what to do. I just did the best I could. I just kept my mouth shut and ignored most people. Well, that didn't go over too well. Well, my cellie, because there was cells in this pod, my cellie was this big Puerto Rican guy. Now, mind you, I was like 150, 155 pounds. This guy was like 6'4", 250. I'll never forget that first night in that cell, he just basically was just trying to like punk me and put fear in me. And it worked. It worked. I was scared to death. I didn't want to get out of my bed. I was being a little, you know what I was being. I was scared. I didn't know what to do. He was so much bigger than me. The next day, I get out. It was a Sunday. And on Sundays back in the day, they used to feed you chicken. You get chicken on the bone. Best tray. I remember going and getting my tray and going back in the cell. And my cellie followed me in there, took my tray out my hand, and smacked me in the face like simultaneously. It was just like, BAM! All I heard was, ooh! I didn't know what to do. I was shook. I was just like sitting there in awe of never have been smacked by a grown man before. It was just like, oh my God. Did that just happen? Everybody in the pod's like, oh, the little white dude just got popped. I had a big old handprint on my face like this. It was the worst. It was one of the worst things that's ever happened to me in my life. Now I'm just sitting there, and another thing that people had said to me was starting to register in my head. And that was, if one person does it, everybody's going to try. Now I'm like, oh my God, I got to fight everybody. I was scared. I'm about to fight nobody. I crawled back up in my top bunk, pulled the blanket over my head, and went to sleep. Well, at least pretended to go to sleep. I was like, if I'm under the blanket, the monsters can't get me. Now I'm sitting in this bed. I haven't even been in jail a whole week yet. I probably been there about 10 days when this started happening. Man, I was losing weight like crazy. I was laying in my bed that particular night, and I just kept thinking to myself, like, dude, you got to do something. You can't just sit here. It's like hyping myself up. Like, so what? He might beat you. He might kill you. He might kill me. I started talking to myself. I was going crazy. A couple more days go by. Few other things happened. Nothing crazy. Just I got smacked again. He took a couple more trays. And then it was like Friday night, I think, and a new shift had just come on. And this was the shift that was going to be there all weekend. And they come in, they're talking to me because I guess someone told him, like that guy ain't getting out of his bed or whatever. So the police come talk to me. I'm like, no, nothing's wrong. And I'm telling them nothing's wrong out of fear. I'm thinking, once again, you can't snitch. You get to handle it yourself. So I'm getting even more mad that they're coming at me and I'm like some little puss. Can I say that? I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. It was driving me crazy. Freaking little hives were growing on my body because I was getting so mad at myself. I was getting so mad at myself. So mad. Well, it was Friday night. They just locked our cells. It was 11:30, something like that. I'm in there. I'm at the sink brushing my teeth. My cellie is laying in his bed. And he's like talking junk. And I'm not saying nothing. And then he like snapped. He's like, you hear me? Yeah. Something like that. What? And he like started to get up. So like a little punk, I ran around him and jumped up on the top bunk. And he like grabbed me and turned me around and smacked me again, right dead in my face. Boom! That one shut me down. I laid back, was going crazy. I don't know how long I was there. It had to be hours because finally what brought me back to like reality was him snoring. Now you can call me sneaky or whatever you want. But I had to get the jump on this dude, and I was finally at my wit's end. He done smacked me probably like 3 or 4 times. He done ate my food so many times. I'm starving, going nuts. I was like, going nuts. So I was like, going nuts. I was like, losing my freaking mind. So I hear him snoring, and I sit up, and I crawl out the bed. And I look down there, and he's laying on his back with his head kind of cocked back on the pillow, and he's like looking up at me, but his eyes are closed. And I reached down, and I grabbed his shower shoe because his shower shoe was like this big. And I put my hand, if this is the shower shoe, this is the front, I put my hand through the shower shoe and grabbed the top of it, the part that goes over the foot. I grabbed it. So I had this shower shoe coming off. And if you've ever been to jail, man, these shower shoes are thick and they're hard. So I took that shower shoe and I just began to hammer punch this dude in the face. with the shower shoe on my hand. I don't know how many times I hit him. I know I hit him enough to where I heard pops, I seen blood. He tried to get up, I hit him again. I know I did. I knocked him unconscious, he was gurgling. And then I immediately dropped the shower shoe, turned and ran straight to the bars and started shaking the bars. Help! Deputy! Deputy, help! Everybody in the pod was like, woo, white boy just snapped. They're screaming. Everybody on the floor is like kirking out. They're shaking their bars and kicking the door. Everybody's going nuts. Because the people that sleep on the floor actually slept outside the cells in the day area. So people seen what happened. They're like, oh my God, the white dude just snapped off. He's going crazy. They're shaking the bars. Finally, the police come. They come, they pop the door. They come in, they grab me, put me in handcuffs, sit me up against the little bench that's in there in the day room. And they're checking on dude's groggy. He's coming back. You don't really know what's going on. I'm looking at him. And all I'm thinking to myself is, man, this dude is about to kill me. I didn't mention this, but apparently he was in there for, hurting somebody. Like a malicious wounding or attempt murder or something. But I know he had like 28 years to serve and he was just waiting to go to prison, right? So they come out, they're asking me like, what happened? And I'm quiet at first, and I was like, I won't really quiet because the whole time they're like trying to get him up. I'm like, restrain him, restrain him. I'm snapping, like, make sure he can't get me. And they were like, what? And they put cuffs on him and they got him sitting down with the cuffs on. And he's like messed up, blood's coming out of his face. And he's like looking around, he's still dazed. But I'm still scared. I ain't even gonna lie, I was shook. Man, it's true what they say, man. When you stand up for yourself, man, people come and they stand up with you. Not everybody's down with the bullying and stuff. But won't nobody gonna fight that battle for me. Man, when I stood up for myself and did what I did, everybody in that pod was like, man, that dude had it coming. He's been in here, I didn't have to say nothing. People were like, he's been in here hitting people, bullying, taking their stuff. And I didn't know everybody wanted him out the pod but everybody just smiled in his face. It seemed like he had friends, but they didn't want to be the one to get smacked. They wanted to eat their chicken tray. Shoot, I wanted my chicken tray. I didn't even know what the damn chicken tastes like. I just knew when I got it, before he took it, I looked at it like, damn, this looked like my mom cooked it. There was collard greens, chicken, some bread. It was a decent meal. But no, I didn't get to eat it because old Puerto Rican Day Parade wanted to ruin I'm not a violent person, and I don't like fighting. I don't like punching people in the face. I don't like blood. It doesn't make me sick or nothing, but I don't want to inflict no bodily pain on nobody. I didn't want to do that. I really didn't. It took me like 5 smacks and a diet to do that. Nothing like that has ever happened to me. I have been smacked by somebody, but then we fought immediately. But man, nothing had ever happened to me like that up until then. And then that moment when I learned that, you have to stand up for yourself. And I'm not telling people to go out there and fight and beat people up if they're picking on you. No, because there's ways around it. But in this situation, I had to do something and I had to stand up for myself. Maybe I should have told the authorities. But no, by doing this, I was super good the rest of my bid. Like, other people in the jail knew about it. And, I didn't really have any more problems after that. But I'll tell you one thing. They came to me and they were like, if this man wants to press charges on you, then we have to press charges. So I got to thinking and I told a lie. You ever told a lie? Oh, no, never? Yeah, I told a lie. They were like, what happened? And everybody else in the pod's already running their mouth like, man, that dude done smacked the crap out of that boy like 15 times, and I'm like, oh. So I told him that I got out of my bunk, and he propositioned me to give him, and then when I told him, screw off, he came after me, but before he had a chance to get out of bed, I just attacked him. And they kind of looked at me like, what? And they asked dude, and Dude just told him, take me to medical. He didn't want to talk. This ain't the end. I meet this guy again. And I swear to God, I almost peed on myself when I seen him. When you go to court, right now mind you, me and this dude are on now what they call a no mix list. If I'm in a pod, they can't put him in the pod, vice versa. When we go to court, when we go to medical, they know who's there. They can't mix us at all. Well, they fumbled that. They definitely fumbled that. I remember going to court and I'm sitting in this holding tank underneath the jail where they take everybody and organize them according to what courtroom or what judge they're going to see. And I'm in my holding tank, and I look up. There's already like 20 people in here. I look up, and sure enough, Big Papi walks in the door. So you know what I did? I crossed my legs and I put my head down, just hoping that he didn't see me. And I kept like looking at him and stuff. Man, he peeped me out immediately and walked right over and sat down and looked at me and apologized. Apologized? Dude, I was shaking while he was sitting next to me. He was a big guy. I felt like this was like my long lost uncle. That's how big he was. Like I felt like a 5-year-old kid. He was really that big. I was like, no, we're good. Everything's cool. I don't know. I guess I gave him a come to Jesus meeting or something. Because this dude like was way humble when he was talking to me, and it blew my mind. He was like, I don't know why I did what I did. He was like, I guess, when you came in, I just felt something and just wanted to pick on you. I hate life. And that's when he told me, he was serving 28 years. And that day he was going for an appeal. He had already been in the jail for like 3 years. Man, it blew my mind. But after that, I wasn't going to let nobody do that to me no more. And I wasn't just saying I was going to fight everybody, but I wasn't. Like, I realized that sometimes some people do things just to see how far it can go. Like I said, you have to stand up for yourself. So, just so you know, jail is not a fun place. Neither is prison. I hope to God none of y'all ever go back. And maybe something like this never happened to you if you have been to jail. But it can happen. I was 18. I was a young kid, never been in a situation like this before and didn't know what to do. I was scared to death. But, I guess it worked out all for the good. Maybe because of what happened, he never did that to anybody else. Maybe he did. I don't know. But I'll tell you what, there is no feeling like the feeling of fear taking over your body and making you not even be able to move. I didn't want to move. I didn't want to do nothing. But that had to happen. So all I can say is, don't go to jail. Don't get locked up. Think twice about whatever you're about to do and then make the right decision. No matter how hard it is, I promise you'll feel good about it later. So with all that being said, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope I was funny. I hope y'all understand how important it is not to get locked up. Hope you understand the type of characters that you will meet in these places. But until next time, man, enjoy life, the free world. Never take a moment for granted and make the most of every day. Peace!